Oh, where's the button?
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, we are on. Before we get officially started, I have to tell you something. Remember the other day when I said we had inequity in my marriage because I had crosses in my house, but I wouldn't let Scott have skulls? Remember?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
All right, I felt bad about that. So I had to fix it. So look what I got him.
Oh,
Wow. Oh, the eyes light up. The eyes light up.
No, they don't. They're just shiny.
No,
it's
they
just
don't.
reflective.
Oh, my goodness.
But look,
my goodness.
Look at all the detail.
Let's see the back. I wouldn't be turning my head away from that one, or Elizabeth will be borrowing it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Is that not? Oh, wow. It needs lights in the eyes. Oh, my gosh.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Oh, my goodness. That is exquisite.
Okay, so went out of my comfort zone completely to do that because I am an excellent wife.
Sorry.
Okay, I can see I'm not appreciated today. It's going to be one of those weeks.
Now, you know we have to give you a hard time.
Yeah,
That's our job.
Yeah.
I can't even find where we are.
All right,
Let's just.
I'm going to start us now. We are the spirit.
That's good.
We are the Spiritual Neighborhood. The Spiritual Neighborhood is a grassroots community project of the Council of Families for Children, a 501c3 nonprofit. We believe that sick can be fixed. Look at Elizabeth. We work on her constantly.
And look what happened. I wasn't like this before. It's the coffee.
So we support services that improve the quality of life for the body, mind, and spirit for the integration of healthy, happy human. And we have back with us today Ann Ransom, one of our favorite people. And I told her earlier she's not a guest, she's family. She's the crazy aunt that drops in once a week.
I'm going to be a new character on Saturday Night Live, except it's Monday noon.
I love it.
Monday noon.
So tell them what we're doing today, Ann. You're in charge, kind of.
Well, we're going to talk about finding peace in everyday life. So for those of you who've not had the honor of my guest appearances here, just a very tiny couple of comments about who I am and what I do. Of course, I'm kidding. I can't believe that even came out of my mouth as a joke. So I am by profession.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were bi. You lingered on that so long. I thought you were going to say I'm bi. Oh, that's new. She's coming out.
By profession, you are. Woo! Okay, girls, let me catch up here. Yes, by profession, I am a consultant. I do strategic planning mainly for nonprofits. I do executive coaching, and I do workshops and programs to help people grow, to achieve their dreams, in many cases to identify what their dreams even are. And so today we're going to talk about a program I created, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. I didn't know how much we were going to need this information when I wrote this, as I say, last year, Finding Peace in Everyday Life. And, it sounds like either I get two reactions. People just guffaw and laugh. It's like, oh, yeah, right. Like, that's possible. Or it's like, oh, yeah, okay, let's do it. Well, it's neither of those things, really. It is a process. Life is a process. Of course, I'm a very process-oriented woman, and so whatever that saying is, it's like to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, to a process-oriented person, everything looks like, oh, if we just had a process, we could fix this.
Right.
So that's kind of some of the idea behind what we'll talk about today. I want to first share that, I don't know about y'all, but, a few things have changed in the last 18 months since I wrote this program. And at the time, We were dealing with each of our individual issues and opportunities, and we were trying to learn and grow. And we thought whatever we were dealing with that may not have seemed too positive, we thought it was like, this is some heavy stuff, right? Well, now we've learned that everything is relative, because whatever I was dealing with last year seems like a cakewalk for many people compared to the times we're in now. I have to say, I'm very grateful. I'm fine. I don't leave the house very often. My son did all of my grocery shopping until he went back to work in July.
Oh, and congratulations on that.
Yes. So I'm now doing my grocery shopping, and that's about the only time that I get out. However, I did take an adventure last week. I drove down to Galveston.
Oh,
and this was one of my finding peace in everyday life. I just needed to see the ocean. I needed to hear the ocean, and I have worn out my Spotify account. There's several of those ocean music channels that you can subscribe to, but I needed to see it and hear it for myself. So literally Thursday morning, I left here after I got up, drove down, spent the night, came back the next day. But I had an opportunity. I put my little camp chair. I'm sorry, are you trying to get my attention, Deborah?
when you get a chance, I have a question.
Okay. So let me just finish this. So I put my camp chair literally on the edge of the water. My feet were in the water, and the waves and I sat there that afternoon. I got there all afternoon and just really took in the sound, the energy. And I had just read a poem. I will try to look it up while we're talking, by Khalil Gibran, and it's called Fear. But it's a story about the river. And the river is going through its journey, and it's journeying, and it realizes that before long, it's going to be coming to the ocean. And it gets afraid because it's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to lose my identity. I'm not going to be the river anymore. I'm going to cease to exist. And the very last line of the poem says, and then I became the ocean.
Oh, wow.
And that was what I sat with for those hours that afternoon was, what does that mean? What does that mean for me to become the ocean? And I think that particularly in these times, to find peace, we have to honor those callings that we have. Like I had to go to the ocean. And I did it on as tight a budget as I could, one night hotel. And, but sitting there, all I did was watch the gulls and listen to the ocean and see people come by, walking by, looking for their shells. But I was focused on becoming the ocean. So, Deborah, you had a question.
Yeah, and what I would like for you to do for the audience is really help to nail down a simplistic definition of peace, because in my years, and I'm sure you've had the same experience working with people, coaching, is that people confuse happiness, peace, contentment, and joy. And those are 4 different words with 4 different meanings. And so tell them what we're talking about with peace.
Well, you just identified, though, Deborah, I think that I can tell you how I define peace, but it may not be universal. So for me, being at peace is being without a lot of controversy, a lot of contradictions in my life. It is where I am more in the flow. So flow, and that was why the ocean was so healing, because you know what, that ocean, those waves just come in, and I noticed, and of course this is no big revelation, but the waves they build, and even though in Galveston you don't get big waves, you have little waves, but they build energy, and then they crest. And then it seemed to me they just let go and they just fall into the nothingness, I guess you could say. I'm not even sure what the right word is. And you don't see them standing at the crest of that wave saying, no, I don't want to go any further. And so I think that when resistance, a lack of resistance, is a way also that I define peace. To me, joy, happiness, those are completely different things that I seek and sometimes I feel. I've been very grateful that largely through this pandemic, I've been very happy. Now, I don't like what's going on with family and friends and people who are in need. And of course, I have compassion for that. But largely, I have been able to use this time very productively for me. I've done a lot of studying. I've attended a lot of classes. I'm reading. I've started writing for the first time since elementary school. And so when we honor ourselves, and part of the process of finding peace in everyday life is about honoring ourselves. One of the things that causes conflict is when I try to live up to your expectations and yours and yours and theirs and, all the people around us. I was once involved in running the board of directors of a spiritual retreat center. And without fail, everyone came to visit us. This was in Arkansas up in the Ouachita Forest. They'd say, you know what you should do? And that became, amongst the board of directors, that became our tag. That was our joke line. You know what you should do?
You should shut up.
Because everybody's got an opinion. Yeah, everybody's got an opinion. If you would just cut your hair, if you would just let your hair grow out, if you'd lose some weight, if you'd gain some weight. So let me share what I think are some important steps that we need to go through so that we can have more peace. Part of it is making a decision. I fall back often on the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes.
And, don't look for reasons to be offended. Don't take things personally. Always do your best. And now I can't think of what the 4th one is. But a lot of that is don't look for reasons to be offended. I witnessed a situation just last week where this person just totally allowed themselves to get offended by something that they had no control over. And it was not a situation where coaching would have necessarily been welcome by this particular person. But it's so easy for us to fall into that trap of, I didn't like what they said, and don't they realize that I believe this and that and the other? Well, no, unfortunately, most people are not thinking about us. And I know that was a big breakthrough for me, and it won't come as a surprise because hopefully we all reach this at some point, is, people aren't sitting around thinking about me and my feelings all day, every day. They have a lot more. I know, Luann, it's a shock. It's a shock when you come to that realization.
And I do. I think about you constantly, Ann. You're on my thoughts all the time.
Of course. Well, you don't have anything else to do you?
I don't.
No, she doesn't.
Shut up.
And that's how we fall into traps. That ego, whatever we want, whatever label we want to put on it, that thinks that somebody is conniving to upset me.
Okay,
well,
but Ann, there's another side of this coin for some of us. People get mad at me because I don't get offended, and they want me to get offended. They're like, they'll say something like, doesn't that bother you? I'm like, no, I don't care that you think that.
Right.
So.
And I think that's their expectations as well. They're expecting you to get mad and you don't.
Yeah.
That makes them madder because you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to they're looking for reasons to be offended.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Exactly.
So we have to first by deciding, what, I'm in control of the way I feel. Now, there may be a lot of circumstances around me, as one of my teachers used to say, you can give me a very strong invitation to be offended. You can say a bunch of stuff that is just like over the top. But in the end, I still have free will.
Here's your golden invitation to be pissed off.
And
Please
then insult everything I know and love.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's your invite.
But in the end, I'm in charge of that. And so when we begin to realize that I'm in control of what my reaction is, then I can begin to think, oh, well, then how could I react in a more peaceful way, however I define peace. So I've kind of created these 3 steps that I think it takes for us to move into this idea of finding more peace. And it starts with being in the present moment. And I don't know why, but in this lifetime, in this earth experience, that is a challenge for most of us. We're worrying about tomorrow, or we're fretting over yesterday. Why did I say that? Why did she do that? What were they thinking? But when we move into the present moment, and if we'll pause, it's like right now, I'm in my dining room, and I have some beautiful artwork that I can appreciate in here. There's a piece of art over there that my sister made. She passed away a few years ago. I have my china cabinet that has things that were my grandmother's, that she was born. She would be 142 years old if she were alive today.
Wow.
So those dishes are 80, 100 years old. So when we stop and we contemplate the moment and we notice what's going on, I call those oasis moments. So some of y'all participated and attended for the first few months of this pandemic. I was doing an oasis moment Facebook Live every day until it got to be not an oasis moment for me after so many months of doing it. But by having, when things quit being fun,
yeah,
then I'm not certain. Then the energy I'm bringing, I didn't hate it. I loved doing it, but it was a responsibility. Mm-hmm. But the idea was, can we make this moment, now this moment, now this moment, now this moment, now this moment, can we make that an oasis moment? And that's where personal choice comes in. That's where the 4 agreements come in. So how can I look out the window when I'm feeling agitated? Can I look out the window and perhaps I'm going to see a squirrel, 2 squirrels playing and chasing each other, or the birds that are singing? But if we're not present, if we're not awake and aware in this particular moment, we're going to miss all that. All we're going to hear is that chainsaw in the background. And why do they always do that at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning? Is my question.
No.
Is there some rule that, okay, we're going to do chainsaw or we're going to do lawn mowing and we have to do it Saturday morning?
That blower?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the blowers. Yes, exactly. But if we'll stop in the moment and look for something to appreciate, then that noise goes away. Because literally about 2 weeks ago, the house behind me, they must have been cutting down every house, every tree in the neighborhood all day long. I went to take a nap to lie down and read for a few minutes in the afternoon. They were still with that chainsaw. So I had to work really hard.
They built that tiny house back there is what they did, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they didn't even send me an invitation to come to the open house. Yeah, it is rude. So I think it starts by we make a decision, we sit in the present, and we look for oasis moments. Or we create oasis moments. I've had everything that's in this dining room. Well, I've lived here for 12 years. Is that right? No, 11 years. And everything in here I've owned for more than 11 years. So there's nothing new in here. But it doesn't mean that I can't stop and appreciate. I got that picture when I went to Hong Kong. What if I stopped and remembered a couple of things about my trip to Hong Kong? how glad I am that I had the opportunity to go, because now that's not a possibility for most of us. And so when we stop and we have these oasis moments and we move into appreciation and gratitude, well, there's many spiritual masters who teach that gratitude is the highest form of prayer. When we just say thank you, thank you. Thank you that I have a beautiful home, that I'm safe. I have windows that keep the hot air out or the cold wind out. And so sometimes I think simplifying our lives is one of the ways that we find peace. And I think it's one of the gifts that the pandemic has brought us. I've said from the beginning that I think that this pandemic is the greatest opportunity for global transformation, certainly in my lifetime.
Yep.
Now, what each of us chooses to do with that is a whole different matter. And I am aware that there are millions of people who don't have choice right now because of either whatever their job is or isn't, that their skill set, they can't work from home. And so money is an issue. And so I recognize how lucky, how blessed I am. I work from home anyway. So that part of it has not been an issue. Now, I haven't had as many clients because, we're all kind of distracted and our money is perhaps a little less than it is. But so that's this first step. That is about oasis moments. I'm a big believer in sitting in the quiet, just like I did on the beach the other day. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't say anything. I wasn't listening except for the birds and that sort of thing. So I'm a big believer in that. I've been surprised over the years as I advocate for contemplation. I don't call it meditation because just the word meditation kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. Not heebie-jeebies, that's not the right word. It makes me nervous because I think I'm supposed to do it a certain way and I can't have thoughts come through and, you've got to do this, you've got to breathe. It's like, okay, I can't do all that, but I can sit in the quiet. I can sit in the quiet for a long time. And I've been surprised in making that suggestion to other people, how nervous that makes them. It's like, well, I could never do that. Okay, why? Why can't you do that?
Because many people don't want to be with themselves.
Yeah, and why do you think that is, Luann?
Because they haven't been honest about what kind of person they are or, what's in their life. Nobody takes time to reflect anymore.
I do.
Good. Well, I think that's how we learn and grow. How do we, it's people say, well, I don't believe in prayer. God never answers my prayer. And I said, well, when was the last time you sat quietly to listen for the voice of God? Well, So here's how I interpret that is in my own life. I have this companion, and her name is CJ, and that stands for critical judge. And she follows me around, and she talks to me, and she gives me her opinion, even when it's not wanted. Well, why did you do that? And, well, what are you thinking? You can't do that. Nobody cares what you have to say. And I could go on and on and on. And so if you stop and think about it logically, why would I want to sit in silence if all I'm going to hear in that time of silence is CJ running down my list of deficiencies and inadequacies? And so I thought, okay, well, that's valid. I can sit in quiet for a little while, and then she might yak a little bit, and then I can go back to my quiet. So I thought, well, I need to do something. CJ needs to go do something instead of bug me all the time. And so what I've begun to do is I send her to the library. Figuratively, of course. I just send her away in a loving fashion that just says, you know what? right now, why don't you go into the library? You could send her to the nature. You could send her anywhere. I just happened to send my CJ to the library.
You should send her
because
to the
there's lots of
grocery
books in there.
store.
Pardon me?
You should send her to the grocery store. You need that done. Put her to
Send
work.
her to the grocery store. Send her to the river. Send her away. Make friends with her or him in a way that gives you the break. Because as long as CJ is yakking and telling you of every mistake, because, she has a memory like an elephant. She never forgets a dadgum thing. She can remember the time when you were in fourth grade that you said such and such to Sally, and then Sally spitballed you, or, whatever it may have been. And obviously that's not a way to find peace. And so until we're able to quiet, some people call it the monkey mind. And I think that CJ and the monkey mind are related, although CJ is a little more insidious to me than monkey. Monkey mind just means I'm scattered and I can't get myself focused and really accomplish the task at hand. To me, CJ is, it's as if her intent is to undermine me.
Right.
Well, I don't want her to undermine me. Life is hard enough without her yakking in my ear. And I have things to do. And I have enough doubt on my own without somebody else bringing that harsh judgment to bear. And then to think that I'm doing it myself, to myself, gives me more work to do. Elizabeth.
I have a question for you. When you were at the beach and you were sitting there and you were, doing your thing, listening to, the birds and, of course, obviously the waves and stuff, did that help quiet her down? Did you still find her active, or did you find that she had literally gone on vacation?
I don't know where she was. She wasn't there with me. And thank you for asking that question, because I didn't realize that until right now. I just literally sat there. And I'm sure some idle thoughts came through my brain. But what I tried to do was, if I kind of got off into some other thought, I would come back to becoming the ocean. I'm becoming the ocean. What does that mean? What does that mean to me? And as I sat with that, it came to mean for me a letting go into the infinite possibility. Because the ocean is the vastest thing we have on this planet. You think about that little river that's putting along and now comes to this body of water that's 1,000 times bigger than it is. And so for me, it was just, I kept saying, I release to the ocean. I let go and surrender to the power, the magnificence, the size, the beauty. I mean, to me, of course, I'm a Pisces, and my good girl here, Elizabeth, is another Pisces. What's your sign, Deborah?
I'm a Gemini, and I think all of y'all are Pisces. What the heck?
I'm Scorpio.
No, she's Scorpio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Elizabeth are Pisces.
Yes, and we're just a couple of days apart. But water is so healing anyway to people that are Pisces, I think. And so it was, what did I just say?
No, I said water signs. You're correct.
Yes, water sign.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it was just like it was just so peaceful and so no, CJ wasn't there. So I was not aware of her during that time.
All right, so I got a question for you, Ann. If you're going to send CJ to the library, why don't you put her to work and say, look, if you're going to have issues with me, go get some solutions to the problem and don't come back till you have some solutions or some options. I mean, you
Well,
obviously...
I don't want her to come back.
Well, if she can help instead of give you problems, you know, so that's all I'm
Well,
saying.
I guess I just don't trust that, Deborah.
Put her to work.
And what would she come back with? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That
like,
is a
okay,
thought, though.
Well, it's a standard NLP strategy. I'll just say that
Oh, is
because if that's part of your subconscious that you're working with, if they're going to be critical, they don't get to criticize. They get to come up with solutions. And if they can't come up with solutions, then they don't have a place. So, you know.
And she can't be critical of the solution. You know, the solution is her interpretation, but you can't be critical of it because you've sent her to go do that.
Yeah, because that's all part of you. It's all part of you, and you want to integrate, not separate, you know? So, and you obviously...
Well, I'm glad she wasn't there.
You what?
I'm glad she was gone. I'm glad she wasn't there. I'm glad she was gone.
yeah. You know, and again, thank you for asking that, because I had journaled and done some writing about, because it was kind of well, first of all, it was very fast. I didn't get there till 3:00, and then I left the next day at 1:00. So, I mean, and the second morning were red flag warnings up on the beach. And so literally you could hardly stand there. So I didn't get to sit at the beach the next day. And so in a way, from a physical standpoint, it was a little, well, maybe disappointing. I had looked to find a hotel room that was on the beach. Well, in Galveston, nothing is on the beach, but there's a street and then it was right there. Well, there's so much traffic that even from my balcony, I could not hear the ocean.
It's impossible.
So, yeah. So there were a few physical things that went on, but the peace that I left there with, just the quiet, just the, you know, I think it has something to do with our blood and how our blood pumps. And I don't know, I may be making all this up, but it's, you know, some kind of synchronization between my body and the rhythm of the ocean and the waves, and the fact that I had no agenda. I mean, I wasn't trying to accomplish anything in particular except to just soak it in so that today and tomorrow and in the weeks to come, I can just go back there in my mind and hear and feel what that was like. As it turned out, I had to leave earlier. Well, I chose to leave earlier because these red flag warnings, I thought, well, I had lunch at a place right on the water, and literally I am like holding my food and, you know, my glass of water so everything didn't fly away. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and head back early. I'd miss all the Houston traffic. Well, there is a huge national forest that I kind of knew was there in Huntsville.
Yeah, big.
And so I just, on my little Google map thing, I just said, okay, I picked some point in that forest, and then it led me there. So then I spent an hour driving through this forest. I think I saw 3 people, no cars. It became a dirt road. And I just, because it was still on my map, I just kept going. And so all of that peace, all of that, see, I'm carrying with me now.
Right.
For another person, it might be something completely different. It might not be nature where they find, maybe it's doing art, or it's writing, or, it could be a million things. I mean, Luann, it could be something in the way that you do your work with all of your oils and your herbs and things. You know, where we find peace kind of goes back to the beginning of what is our definition of peace. But I don't want to get to the end without sharing the third step, which is we have to make a commitment. You know, it's the proverbial call to action. And, you know, I think that for many of us, we're really good at listening, you know, okay, I'm going to listen to this class or I'm going to read this book. And then when we finish that book, we go to the library, and what do? We get a new book. My spiritual teacher used to say, pick one spiritual book, any spiritual book, read it, try to live it, and you don't need to read any more books. But we don't commit to that. It's like, oh, okay, well, that was good. Now let's go see what's next. And so it's another way that we're not living in the present moment.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, okay. And I love the library. Of course, now I don't get to go inside the library, but I do have book pickups every week that I schedule for the different things that I've ordered. And did you know you could do that?
No, I had no idea. I just thought it was closed completely or online.
Well, at least the Dallas Public Library. I'm not sure about the Richardson or Plano libraries, how they're handling it.
Wow. Okay.
Dallas. I had felt for years, the library is very important to me, and I go online and I order if y'all mention a book today, I'll go online to the library website. I'll order it if they have it, and then they send me an email when it comes in, and then I call them and I set up a time to go pick it up. It's great. I have my own little personal bookstore.
And you don't have to go and look around. You just know what you want. You order it and you just pick it up. I love that.
Yes. And you don't go inside. When you get there, you text them and say, I'm here. I'm in parking. It's just like with the groceries. I'm in parking space number 3. They bring out a bag. They put it in your trunk. You wave and head off on your merry way.
And sometimes it's even better because you don't get so distracted.
Yes.
Like, oh, maybe I need that. Oh, no, I haven't read this one. Oh, no, I need that. As to where this is just very specific.
Yeah. Yeah. So the commitment is so important because otherwise it's nice information. It's good to know. But it's like the Bible or any other what I think are high spiritual teachings. If we'll just commit to a passage, to a book, to this process of what are we going to do? We're going to be in the present. We're going to look for oasis moments, things that bring us peace. It's like right now I just glanced out and there's a squirrel running down the fence across the street. Well, I don't know. Aren't squirrels kind of fun? I just think they're fun to watch. They just look like they're having fun all the time. They're just scampering around and they're chasing this, that, and the other. And perhaps in the process, you're going to find that you haven't been allowing yourself to appreciate some of these simple little things. Now, people may think I'm crazy. That's okay. I'm beginning to know I'm crazy and love myself anyway. It's a process. It's a process. That's all I can say. So we give ourselves permission to appreciate things that are going on in the moment. Then we have a conversation with CJ. We put her to work. We tell her to go to the library, go for a hike, do something, but do not allow her or him to invade your headspace.
See, I guess I was lucky with that because I was born to my CJ. And I learned at a very early age to ignore my mother. So, when it was externalized like that, you learn to be able to diffuse negativity and criticism. But I will say this, I think it made me a better person because I have always strived to be improving, not perfect, but how do you improve a situation? This worked well. How do you make it better? This worked well. Now, how do I make it better again? And, because I was born to a situation where I had a family that always pushed for things to be on a higher level, and not necessarily from a positive standpoint either, but the result was positive. So,
at least in someone's opinion.
Yeah, mine. I chose to see it as positive. I saw it from a very early age that my purpose in life was to improve.
Okay. Well, and to have that clarity, how has that served you, do you think?
I think it served me really well. It's given me freedom to make mistakes. It's given me freedom to be myself, because, it's like I said, other people's opinions roll off of me because I know that my intent is to do better. I know where my focus is. And frankly, if they can do it any better, they can feel free to do it better. And it's made me a very, people see it as strength. I don't see it as strength. I just see it as being knowledgeable of who I am. And when you know who you are, that gives you a peace of mind that you can't get any other way. Now it doesn't mean that I haven't had periods of time where I, wish I was more, in the social realms and had more of the groups and things like that. And it's made me intolerant at times in my life of other people that don't know what they're doing. It's made me impatient. But, so it's not about, oh, gee, I'm a better person because of that. It's just that I have a different focus and I have other things that bother me, but I'm okay with me. So.
Yeah. Good for you. Elizabeth, you were going to say something or ask something?
What I'm getting from this is that when you listen to that inner part of you that says, okay, I have got to go to the ocean, and you do it, you actually said, okay, I'm going to do this, and you prepare for it and you go. Then when you're doing something you really listen to from I'm saying it's from your soul because
Right.
That's what it feels like, it's from your soul. When you go and do that, CJ leaves because you're literally doing something that your soul needed.
Makes sense.
Wow, that makes me cry.
Makes sense.
That's beautiful, Elizabeth.
Because your soul was going, I'm done. We need like a refresher. And I understand what you're saying. You need to go to that place that you can get to. I mean, without trying to get to Hong Kong, where can I go to find that purpose? Now, not all Pisces need the water. We have a really close friend, Dina. Dina's been on the show before.
Oh.
Dina lives in Colorado. She is from Texas. But her vision of water is snow.
Oh.
So that's how she incorporates that into her.
But it's still water.
Knows that.
It's still water, though. It's just a different
It's still
type.
water. Yeah. But I find that extraordinary that you actually listen to that part of you. You acted out, you went to it, and she left. So if we do what our soul is calling us to do, CJ is on patrol or wherever, vacation or library or solving solutions. And
That is just brilliant, Elizabeth. I had not processed that at all.
So
That
basically,
is
what you
brilliant.
said is that as long as you're true to yourself, that's where peace lies, being true to yourself.
Yes.
Well,
And we kind of started with that at the beginning, but I didn't make the connection. I'm sorry, Luann.
it's okay. You're committing to your well-being.
Yeah.
You have to. I think especially the older we get, we realize, there's too much in my head here. I need to release some of this and be more true to what I want to do, what I want to be.
I have one more question. When you went to the forest, when you were driving through the forest, did you notice a lot of pine trees there?
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the pine tree is really one of those trees that they say, whoever they are,
They.
will help you psychically.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow, I just got goosebumps.
it will cause you to have visions of the future or resolve past issues. That's why so many people who go to the forest and they spend the night in the forest and then they come back and they have all these great and wonderful ideas. No, I can do this and I can do that. Same way as going to the ocean. But they go to, like national forests and pine trees. But it's very, very helpful with people who have psychic abilities.
Wow. Well, I'm going to send y'all, and I don't know, is there a way, maybe I can post it on this page, by the time of the day I was there was maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. I don't recall. The way the light was coming through, I didn't notice it at first. And then all of a sudden I looked over. I must have taken 50 pictures that all look exactly the same. But in my mind, it's like, oh my God, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. But
It's the same picture. But in like, okay, here's like the video. 1, 2, 3.
She was in the now.
Pictures different.
She was in the now, and then the now, and then the now, and then the now.
Well, it's being in the present moment, ladies. That's what I'm talking about, being in the present moment.
I can hear this in my head as a video. And here's that present moment. And here's that present moment. What is your movie called? Present Moments. There's 1. Here's 2. Look at that. 2 for 1.
Oh my God.
I want whatever Elizabeth's drinking today.
I'm gonna post or send or something, just one picture of the forest and just one picture of the ocean.
Well, send one to me. I'll put it out there. I'll throw it out there on my Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Well, for 2 things. One, the insight of when we honor ourselves, our higher self, because I can honor my lower self and not have quite the same result.
Okay, that doesn't sound right, Ann. You need to say that differently. You know where I went.
Be nice.
You know where I went.
So when we honor our higher self, our judge doesn't have anything to say.
Right, because there's nothing to judge.
Yeah.
And it can't judge you when you're doing what your soul says you need. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
That is brilliant.
There's no reason for it to show. Because really, if you're in that moment, even if CJ were to show up, you would have said, take a hike, I'm busy.
Yeah.
And she would have left because you had that power. That's like that self-empowerment of nothing is going to interfere with this at all.
Well, and just this last thought, and oh my gosh, I've got to shut up, is that I'm not ugly to her. I don't tell her to F off. Right. You know, I try to just, honey, you can't be here right now. You need to go in the library. And to me, a library is a desirable place to go. So it's not as if the energy behind it is punishing or negative. It's just, you go over there, you enjoy yourself there, and leave me in peace.
Right. Wow, that is awesome.
So,
for sharing that.
Also, I'm going to leave this tip, and maybe I'll post this if I can figure out how to do it on the page or on yours, Elizabeth. Have y'all ever seen the movie Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
With Julia Roberts. But it's Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Eat, Pray, Love, where she goes to Italy for 3 months, and then she goes to India for 3 months, and then she goes to Bali for 3 months. Well, if y'all haven't seen the...
Okay.
Pardon me. So
make a note.
There is a passage in there in the video that, I'll set it up when I post it because it's not going to make any sense right now.
Okay. Awesome.
So, ladies, that's it. We stay in the present moment. We ask CJ to go away, and then we make a commitment that says, "Hey, I'm gonna have peace in my life," and that's my decision.
I say put CJ to work and say if you can't be part of the solution, you're not going to be part of the problem.
Yeah,
put her to work.
Get a life, girl. Get a life.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Say if you want to be on the payroll, you got to earn it.
That's right. Well, she probably thinks she's earning it right now. It's just I happen to differ with her on that.
Well, you're the boss. Snap her into shape. Whip her around. So,
No, just do what you do. That's brilliant.
All right. So we've had a lot of people just saying thanks for reminding and we need to keep reminding ourselves to be true to ourselves. So that was a message that resonated for some of our viewers. That's really cool.
Good.
So anybody got any questions?
I ask my questions.
Okay.
I mean, seriously.
And tell people how to get a hold of you and how to find you when you're not at the beach.
My website is AnnRanson.com. AnnRanson.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I have I'm on Twitter. Mainly I do that for politics and business. And then I'm starting to get on Instagram a little bit. So don't expect me to reply if you go to Instagram because I'm just learning what that's all about. Or email me, Ann@AnnRanson.com.
Well,
and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I was at a party thing this Saturday with a bunch of 16-year-olds, and Twitter is old hat, Instagram is old hat, Facebook is old hat. We are so out of it, girls. We are so.
Thank God I'm not 16 where I don't have to worry about that.
So what's current?
What is the current?
I don't know. TikTok is big.
TikTok.
But there's another one, and I can't remember what they said it was because they were doing videos of my readings. And I'm like, where am I going to find those? And so I'm out there floating around in space, but I don't know where it is. They recorded all of it. Yeah. Yeah. I like being in space, though. Lost in space.
Well, there's our lie.
Yeah. Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Danger.
Warning.
Did Bill Mooney, or whatever his name was, the little boy, did he not grow up to be hot, though? I had such a crush on him when he was a teenager.
Really, Mommy?
Yeah. Yeah, he was so cute. Yeah. So cute.
Well, he's all right, I guess, now. Yeah.
I haven't seen him.
I don't know if I remember who it was.
He was.
Well, if you saw it, you'd go, oh, yeah, I remember him.
He was a cutie. Cutie. Well, I appreciate you so much, Ann. You always bring things to the table for us to think about and to ponder, to challenge ourselves with. I like being challenged. I like doing assessments and challenging and assessing and reevaluating. I think that's how we grow. And if we're not going to grow, what's the point of being here? That's my opinion.
I will throw in one more thing. I think it's really important that people recognize the fact that there are places that you can go to rejuvenate yourself, and you do not have to go necessarily with a group. Mm-hmm. You can go by yourself, and it is okay.
Well, and to that point, Elizabeth, I was talking to my cousin, it's probably been 2 or 3 months ago, and she just turned 80, she and her husband, and they're pretty conservative, and I just assumed that they were all hunkered down at their house and not seeing anybody and not going anywhere. And she said, oh, yeah, we do outings once a week. And I said, okay. I was surprised. And what they do, and now what I've started doing is once a week, I pick a place to go by myself. I'm doing all this by myself. And it's a place where there are not other people. And I have visited 2 lakes within the Dallas area. And I take my little chair and I sit there or I hike around. I was talking to a friend earlier. She runs a nonprofit that they have community gardening. And so she told me the address on my outing next week. I'm going to drive over. I don't know if I'm going to talk to a soul, but and so what my cousin said is they pick a place to drive to. And she said, then usually we'll have lunch. And she said, sometimes we drive through and just eat in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But it's getting out. And for me, I call them adventures because I like the way that feels.
Right. Well, it's like the artist way date. You're taking yourself out on your date.
Yes.
And you're honoring that soul. That's what you're doing. You're honoring your purpose, your soul.
Yeah. And I do think of them as artist dates.
Yeah.
From Artist Way.
Yeah.
And I've started doing morning pages again the last month or two, which is a good habit to get back into.
Excellent. Awesome.
All right.
Okay, ladies, well, I'm going to jump off because I know y'all have other things that you finish or whatever, and I think y'all need me to leave first, don't you?
Well, no, but
it's not like we're kicking you out, but
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Ann.
Bye-bye. Thanks, y'all.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Hi, Ann.
All right. I got buttons.
So I want to throw one thing out there right quick before I forget it. Congratulations to Luann. He is now a Reiki master teacher.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's when you practice, I practice all the time long distance, especially when people get on our thread and say, pray for me while I send Reiki healing, and that's what I like to do. But I think energy is very powerful.
It is official.
Yes.
Open for business, people.
Open for business. That's cool. I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did y'all do anything fun for the weekend?
No.
What is that background noise coming from? Did somebody turn their speakers up?
Not me.
Yeah.
It's the vibe.
It is. How weird.
It's Luann.
It's Luann.
It's her energy. It is
It's
her
my energy.
I sound like an idiot sometimes, though, because I really don't care what people think. I really don't. And it gets me in trouble sometimes because people get expectations, and then they get their feelings hurt or they get angry.
I made a very large faux pas Saturday. I wanted to use the ATM at Walgreens, and I was in such a hurry that I just jumped out of the car and went into Walgreens. Now it's right there in the front.
Oh.
You don't really see anybody, unless they're coming out the door. And I didn't wear my mask.
Oh.
So I'm standing there in this little, it's just this big, and I put my car, ma'am, you need to get a mask on. I said, I won't be here long. And she says, but that's not the rule.
That's right.
And I said very sweetly, thank you for reminding me. I appreciate you. And I just kept using the ATM.
Well, when you're in the middle of it, what can you do? It's just as easy to go ahead and finish it. But, I've had a few boomer moments where I've gotten halfway across the parking lot and go, oh, damn, I forgot my mask, and had to go back and get it.
I did that the other day, and I had to turn right around and go back. It's like, what? How could I have forgotten that?
I do have a question, though. I was in Jefferson last weekend, or was it the weekend before, staying at the historic Jefferson Hotel for their new opening. And they do have people wearing masks, in the stores and stuff like that, because Jefferson is a big tourist town. But here's what gets me. Jefferson is a small area. I think they have like a population of 2,000, so that's not a lot. I think we have that many in our neighborhood. And but they have people in town every weekend because it's a tourist attraction. They have not had one case. Not one. Not one. And how is that possible? With all the exposure that they have with people coming in from out of town and stuff, it makes you really wonder. I have a theory. It's kind of crazy, but I do have a theory.
One thing is because they're very clean people.
You think?
Well, what's your theory?
No idea.
Well, you say things so seriously. I never know if you're being sarcastic or if you're making something profound, and I'm like, I'm not getting it,
Well, I am making an observation that I think a lot of people are just cleaner than we know, and I think maybe that has a lot to do with it. I think they took this very seriously, but I also think that we're extremely proactive. We're going to lose money if we don't do something. What do we do?
I didn't get that vibe. I just didn't. I mean, they're very lackadaisical. It's not like they're very militant about it. A lot of people are wearing masks. A lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
I
just think they're clean people. Clean people.
They're clean.
Either that or the ghosts are going, look, we don't want this stuff here. Maybe that's it.
All right, here's my theory. Jefferson is very close to the Caddo Lake, okay? Caddo Lake is the only natural lake in Texas, and it is spring fed. It is also an area that is surrounded by Native American territory, and there was all sorts of Native American tribes in that area. I think from the natural energy of the springs that feed the lake, there's also a lot of magical energy there because those lakes are spooky. The lake is spooky. If you've ever been there, you just oh my gosh, you just vibrate. And then with the Native American history, I think it's supernaturally protected.
I like Jefferson. That's one of the first adventures I went on was to Jefferson. I liked it a lot. But I like the history of Jefferson too, but I like the element of the spooky.
Yeah, it's cool. But I just think it vibrates on a different level of energy.
Yeah, because if you're not careful, if you get on Caddo Lake, you can get lost.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is like super swampy bayou, Louisiana.
Yeah, really?
I mean, those huge trees, I forget what they're called, with the moss hanging down, the Spanish moss. And
like that Spanish moss stuff where it just drapes down. You don't know moss or a snake.
I'm going to tell you, I could live on a houseboat on that lake and be so content. So
Really?
Content. We used to go 2 or 3 times a year and stay in Uncertain, Texas. I love the name Uncertain. We don't have to name the place. We'll just call it Uncertain. That's what they did. Seriously, that's what they did. And we always take the tours every time we go there. And you think, well, what's the big deal? Because it's just so peaceful and so vibrant at the same time. It's like a great orgasm. It just really is. It's a great spiritual orgasm. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, come on.
Luann feels me. You feel me, don't you, girl? You got me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that lake was formed when there was a
back in the
earthquake
days.
Earthquake.
There was an earthquake.
Okay, I did not know that.
And it was
So you add that. Add that to the energy. Add that. So we now have earth energy. We have water energy. We have the Native Americans, or am I supposed to say indigenous? I don't know what's right. I don't care.
Ask me. I don't know.
I don't give a shit.
Correct.
I feel they're Native American. I mean, they are literally from this location, Native American.
You know what I call them? The real Americans. They're the real Americans.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're all immigrants. We're the immigrants.
And I don't understand why people don't get that. All of us are from a specific, except for the indigenous people or Native Americans. I don't know if there's a Native American out there that, if you have a different terminology that you would prefer us to use, let us know.
I don't guarantee I'll use it, but I'll listen to your reasoning.
I try to. I try to be respectful of people's heritage because my heritage is important to me. I would like to respect other people's heritage as well. But I know I get that. We had a lot of Native American energy just kind of show up on Saturday. We had a lot of smoke. There was a lot of sacred energy that was just kind of spinning around. And it's the only time I've lost a student. I actually had a student pass, and that was the first of this year. And I've never had that experience before. I've never lost a student to death. And she was taking our class. I mean, this is a class she was taking. And I saw her everywhere over the week. I saw her eyes in people. I mean, it was one particular place where this girl was, not very tall. And she had her mask on. She had a baseball hat. It was down, the brim was real low. And that's how Michelle wore her baseball hat. She loved baseball hats. She just thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And you could just look at that, and I just saw her face.
That's interesting.
So, yeah. So, and there was a lot of Native American attached either to her or because of her, but we just felt like that energy. She was saying, "Good job, guys. We're proud of you."
But you didn't get a specific message or anything like that?
Well, the message, I think, was do good deeds, do good work, do something with it, be productive. Don't just have it as something to look at. Use it, be purposeful. Well, and that was basically her. She was purposeful.
Anne brought up a really good point that I thought, you know what, we could do a whole series of shows on this. The fact that she said that she had a mentor tell her to read just one book and then act on it. How many times have we as coaches and teachers and mentors seen people that it's like they're like a bee and they go from flower to flower to flower looking for that next fix, that, you know, that magic pill, and they're looking at any and every metaphysical component. Instead of trying to figure out who they are and what they need, they're going around looking for someone to wave that magic wand to heal them, you know?
Mm-hmm. I did it. Took every class I could think of, anything that I could get my hands on, anything that I could feel like I've learned something. I took class after class after class. And in some cases, it was very enlightening. In some cases, it was like, oh, I had no idea. That's all new to me. And then there were some that it was like, well, I'm already doing all that.
Well, but you were looking for knowledge. You weren't necessarily looking for someone to wave that wand and say, you're now whole.
No, actually, that during that point in time, I really was.
Really?
I was trying to get someone to fix me.
Okay.
And that's before I realized I could fix myself. You know, that sort of thing.
Well, my thing was, because I took a lot of classes, I read a lot of books, I studied a lot of things in my 20s. But my thing was I was looking for what was better than the Bible, because I'm like, I had reached a point in my life where I had decided that being a Christian meant I was stupid, because an intelligent person could not believe that way. Okay.
We didn't have that issue.
And so, well, you know, because it was during that time frame of there were so many things out there, and you know, the Bible's wrong. It was written by men, blah, blah, blah. It didn't fit in with the feminist viewpoint. I mean, so I was like, okay, I really believe this, but maybe it's because I don't know better. I don't know better. So if I go out there and get more education, I'll know better. And then after, you know, 5 or 6 years of that, I'm like, no, I don't know better. And this still works for me. So I went underground with it, you know, because I didn't know how to explain it.
Well, I think it's important that people explore that part of their aspect. The main thing I think people should look at is their belief system, because I think it has everything to do with a lot of the outcomes that happen. It's your belief system. What do you believe? And we talked about that a little bit on Saturday. My belief system is, if there's something wrong, or if I feel like there's a certain thing that's wrong with me, or I'm having a situation that's really, it could potentially be death, you know, that kind of thing. I don't tell a lot of people. And the reason I don't is because I don't want other people looking at me with that energy of, oh my God, how horrible. Oh my God, she could die. Oh my God, isn't that tragic? I want people to look at me with, I'm so glad I see you whole. I'm so glad I see you healthy. So I tell limited people, very limited. But in Reiki, you can use symbols to throw out to your future excellent results, excellent health, excellent this. I mean, you can throw that out there to the future. So I'm going to confess, my waffle adventure was a way for me to look at something and laugh, so that I could look and say, that reminds, it reminded me of my boobs. And I thought, what can I do that's really funny? I started creating those little moments, and it was like, okay, we're going to add more energy to this. We'll add more energy to that. And that's why I had the waffle series, was because it helped me think something positive about what could be a potential negative situation. And I got a lot of feedback. Oh my God, that was hysterical. I cannot believe you did that. That's so creative. I mean, whatever. It helped feed that. My boobs are healthy, everything's fine, and this is going to be one of those situations. But I also took the tools from Reiki and sent it into my future. So when I had to schedule my appointment to go back, it got so screwed up. It was so messed up. And so many appointments I had to cancel. I took 2 weeks and said, I'm doing nothing on this. We're just going to play. I'll have my waffles. We'll do, whatever I need to do. So when I did go and have the results, it was a total amazing outcome. You know, I didn't get the words that the other women potentially got. Did that make a difference? I don't know. It did for me.
No, I know what made a difference. I sacrificed my own waffle symbols of boobs.
I saw that, and I really appreciate that.
And I offer that blood sacrifice in your name.
I saw that to the waffle gods, and they said, "Oh, we shall make sure her boobs are intact." Well, add a little salt to that, because that's what it looks like. It looks like salt. She needs a little calcium. It's in the wrong place, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate your sacrifice. I really appreciated it. Thank you.
No, but the thing is you're right on target with this. I mean, you're spot on, because it is about attitude. It is about focusing on that. And, you know, I am a firm believer in the, you know, for lack of a better word, the laying of hands, whether it be Christian, Reiki, whatever. Energy heals. And, you know, I've had some tremendous healings in my own life, but I have some healings that are not coming. And so I don't get despondent and say, okay, what the hell is wrong? This doesn't work. I say, what is blocking this? What lesson have I not gotten from this? Or am I not supposed to be healed from this because it motivates me to move in another direction so I can do something else? I believe there's a positive from all of this, and you have to seek it out. You know, if it was easy, everybody would do it. I'm sorry, they just would.
Well, yeah, it's the same concept. If it was in a pill, I'd have a case of it.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be in my closet.
I'm just shocked bourbon doesn't cure everything.
I would not share. I'm just hoard all of it.
Yeah, bourbon should heal everything, in my opinion. You know, and it
does cure all to all magic,
and it heals a lot.
Bourbon and rum and vodka are the three things used in like hoodoo or stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Magic.
I don't know.
Bells. Witchy people, y'all know rum.
I don't know. Catholics use
So
wine.
Yeah, that I think that's a really good idea. I would like for people to participate. I think it'd be a great idea for people to let us know, what do you do when you're faced with a situation and you do not know what to do, where to go, how to handle it? Where do you go? Where does your belief system take you? Where do you go? What do you do? How do you handle it? You know what I do. I mean, y'all know what I do.
But it's funny, don't you think, that Catholics use wine and the Baptists use grape juice?
I always thought it was because it was, you know, that was kind of expensive, but that was just my childlike, you know, demeanor. Of course, now you've got to remember, my mom was radical. My mom was all into metaphysics. She was all into women's lib. She was all into, I'm sitting here and I'm typing and you're sitting there typing and you make how much more than me? Because you're what? You have a ding dong or something? No, I don't think so. A pendulum is what she called it. It's like, no, I don't. You know, so my mom was just, you know, the total opposite. She's the one that embarrassed me, not the other way around. You know, I was like, oh my God, what has she done now? But that was my mom. But, you know, it's like one of her reasonings was, I'm not burning my bra for you. It's too fucking expensive. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that out loud.
It was here. She said it. She said it.
I did.
I'm a good influence on her.
Well, that's what my mom would say. That's what she would have said.
Well, see, but you bring up a really good point. Feminism in the Bible in my 20s was a real hard mesh. It's like, you know, they didn't work together. So what that did is that sent me into studying the history around the Bible so I could have a deeper understanding. Now, there's no conflict there for me. There is no conflict. There's conflict for other people around me, but not for me. You know,
right.
So
well, when we start talking about Bible and stuff like that, one of my go-to people is Dr. Chuck. I mean, he enlightens so many different things from a totally different perspective, and he just tickles me with the way he comes up with his information. It's like, this is fact, this is fact. Think about it. This is fact.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I love that concept of, this is what's written, but did you also look into it from this document? Did you also check it out from Aramaic? Did you know that that's been translated? Did you know that was translated into Greek? Do you know that's a different word than what's in Aramaic?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. He's bringing, see what this, and then it ventures off into that. That's my idea of religion.
It is.
Let's start at the beginning and let's talk about it from every perspective.
See, I don't have a religion. I have a faith. I don't have a religion. I have a faith, and there are some things that are just not explainable. But it's always interesting to me, like in Hebrew, one letter can mean 7 different things. So if you put together a 7-letter word, that means they can have 49 meanings.
But that's his point.
Yeah. So who the hell translated that Bible? And who the hell decided what books went in there? And I'm very much into the Gnostic books, which really get into blasphemy according to a lot of people. And they challenge even me sometimes. So I'm like, well, that's kind of bizarre. But at the same time, from my personal experiences, it makes sense out of that, And my big gripe in my life now is I can't find a good Gnostic group. I would like to have a group of people like Dr. Murphy. I'd like to have a group of 10 with people with varying backgrounds but same ideas to get together and to shoot the shit with,
Discuss all that from an open forum.
Exactly.
Open, where people can come up and say, okay, my question is this. What is your belief system with that? What do you think about this? Because Chuck is, and you as well, you both can go back and say, well, this is what so-and-so and such and whatever. I'm not qualified for that at all. But I love learning about it more so now than before. Well, a lot of it had to do with Chuck. I always thought he was just very enlightened. But of course, I've had a crush on him since 1974.
Well, I bet if you offered Sonny some money, she'd sell him to you.
He's like a brother. It's like, we work well together. I mean, we do. But I just,
I can't leave my prayer beads alone today. I don't know why, but I cannot leave them alone today.
You need something.
It's working my nerves today. All right, well, I've got an announcement to make. Tomorrow, instead of doing Tipsy Techno Tuesday, we are doing our first unfinished business segment. And Martha will be with us tomorrow. We're going to get Carrie online, hopefully. And we're going to go review some videos that I did last week and start our process. And it will be a process because we're not professionals and we're not being paid. So
do not try this at home.
Oh, sure, they can try it at home, but they're not going to do it as good as we do.
That's what I mean. Don't try this at home.
We've got 7 years practice metaphysically.
Metaphysically, we have 8 years on y'all. 8 in metaphysical terms. 8 years of this.
Yeah, when Nan was talking about doing her Oasis Facebook Live and she quit doing it, I'm like, bitch, please look at what we're doing.
Well, the thing of it is, though, when I understand when you're doing it by yourself and you're trying to accommodate so many different people, it's hard to do.
It's hard doing it with 3 people. Are you kidding me? I can't imagine doing it by myself.
I know. That's why it's at least helpful to have other people around.
I sit here and watch the camera constantly. Oh, I'm watching over here while we're recording, but I'm watching to watch yours and Lou Ann's face to make sure I'm not getting totally off track.
How would you know by our face look?
Oh, please. I would love to.
Because we go.
I would love to. I would play poker. I would play poker with y'all any day of the week. $10 Annie. Oh, yeah, let's do some poker, baby. I'm ready. Your faces tell it all.
Hey, I can be stoic.
I can too. But will you? That's
I'm playing for money. Oh, totally.
Well, we should have a poker game. Yeah. Well, that's all I've got today. Are y'all excited about the show tomorrow?
Yes.
I'll be more excited tomorrow, but I have clients coming up, so I gotta get out so I can have some food and.
Like you a lot.
Like y'all a lot.
Oh, I don't know what I like. I got to close.
Okay, the ending.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Y'all just,
You're welcome. That's our job.
Y'all supposed to be a support system here. What the hell?
We're supporting you 100%. Here's the ending.
Thank you for being with us. Help us support others, both those who need services and those that offer gifts, talents, and services by liking our page on Facebook. We only need 29 people. God, y'all are annoying.
9 people. That's all we need for the 1,000.
Yes, and they're annoying the hell out of me. Annoying.
I put that out on my Facebook feed today and told them, I know you're sick of hearing this, so go like it.
Yeah, and we'll shut up about it. And then we'll start talking about the YouTube channel.
Like an expert.
Yeah.
1,000, no. And we'll have the 1,000th person on the show.
Oh, I don't know about that, but maybe.
We
Depends on.
could do that on a Tipsy Tuesday.
It depends on if I know who it is. I mean, if we have, I may not know who it is.
That's correct.
And if you offer anything that makes people laugh, smile, sing, or feel better, or if you just think that you can offer something to this show that we need, come on, we'll talk to you. We are here to teach. What?
If you get 30 people signed up, and I know that you've done it, I'll give you a 30-minute free reading.
Oh, damn.
Yes,
People.
You get us 30 people to sign up from today to, let's say, next week, next Monday. It's your challenge. You get that done. You get 30 people to like our page, and it's done. I will give you a 30-minute reading for free.
I may have to go do that myself. To hell with y'all.
We'll get on it.
Put that on your page, Elizabeth, so they can see that.
I will do that.
All right, we're here to teach that the body heals with play, the mind heals with laughter, and the spirit heals with joy. And stay tuned tomorrow for our first show, Unfinished Business.
It'll be awesome.
It will. Bye, y'all.
We'll be wearing our Halloween attire tomorrow.
Oh, we are not.
We will?
We're professionals. We're professionals. Except I'm out of screen. We're professionals.
I just at home.
All right, see y'all. See y'all.
Bye, Deborah.
See y'all.
Okay, bye.